Great Thursday morning, everybody. How are you all doing? Happy November on this November 1st. Can you believe it's already November? Where's the time going? It just seemed like we just said Happy New Year. I don't know. It's flying by for me. But I wanted to talk about something that I see all too well in marriages. And it actually leads to divorce. It leads to separation. It leads to no longer really desiring or having that love for your spouse in your heart anymore. And so I was thinking about the scripture, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So, and that comes from Proverbs. And I was thinking about that and reading on that this morning. And the topic today that I'm talking about is don't let insecurities ruin your marriage. Don't let insecurities ruin your marriage. Now, a lot of people will say and get defensive straight off the bat. Good morning, Kevin, and say, well, I'm not insecure, or I've never been insecure in my marriage. And hey, Tiffany, how are you doing? And I'm not trying to call people out. I'm not trying to say what you're saying is right or wrong. However, it's very rare that I've seen people not be insecure. Most of the times we think about insecurity when it comes to marriage, we're thinking about as far as, oh, I'm insecure when my spouse is around, another woman, or my spouse is around another man, or whatever the case may be. I'm very insecure in that sense. But there are so many different forms of insecurity, especially when it comes to our marriage, that we don't even think about. And so I'll go ahead, like I always do, and just kind of give example and be very honest. I had form of insecurity in my marriage, especially in the beginning of my marriage. And the reason being is because, number one, I didn't know how to be a wife. Nobody has ever, taught me how to be a wife. There are examples of whatever that I've seen. Number two, I was the second wife. And, for those who are in the second wife club, there is a lot of pressure associated with that, especially when second wife's club, good morning, Simone, especially when the first spouse has done the person whom you married to so dirty. I have forms of insecurity because I was sitting up thinking like, oh Lord, are we going to end up divorced too? Because dang, I'm coming in this, I don't know how to be a wife, and I got to follow behind this train wreck. No disrespect, that he just left. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a form of insecurity. Oftentimes when people are insecure within themselves, it does come out of their mouth. They are not necessarily thinking insecurity, but their actions and what they speak it shows form of insecurity. So let me go ahead and kind of give examples of what I've seen. If y'all know any good old examples, y'all can drop them as well. But some of the insecurities that I've seen in regards to belittling. When a spouse will belittle and put the other person down by the forms of their mouth. Good morning, Dalisha. So think about it. And some may say, well, Shan, I don't even necessarily agree with that. I mean, I put my spouse down, but that doesn't mean I'm insecure. Think about those words. If you ever said that, that doesn't even make any sense. Good morning, Miss Delia. That doesn't even make any sense. If you are belittling and putting your mouth on your spouse in a negative way, I guarantee you there is a seed of insecurity in which that come from within yourself. Because the word of God tells us what we're supposed to do in reference to our spouses, but we're belittling them, and that we make them feel like they're not good enough, they're less than, they can't do anything right. Okay, somebody has been in this if they're not currently in this right now. Other forms of insecurity that I've seen in regards to marriages is that you accuse your spouse of cheating on you or messing around, or you always insinuate, what is it, somebody else? What, you don't want to be with me? Is it somebody else that you messing with? You know what I'm saying? That's a form of insecurity, straight up. Now, the people who are doing this right now will sit up and say, no, I don't agree with that. Baby, you doing it. Of course you're not going to agree with it. That is a form of insecurity. Now, I will tell you this. I will say this piece, and I'm not going to stay on cheating too long, but I will say this. If you knew that the person in which you married was sleeping around before they was even with you, they was cheating on other people or whatever, or let's keep it real, they cheated on their spouse with you. Hello, somebody, early in the morning on a Thursday, November the 1st. They cheated on their spouse with you. Then of course you're going to have insecurities, because what does the saying goes, it says if he or she cheated before, then they allowed to do it again. So you're going to have insecurities no matter how much we try to walk around and we say, oh, we're strong, and oh, not me, and oh, I'm confident in myself, and all that kind of stuff like that, I am sure and almost guarantee you we've had some forms of insecurity, especially when it has come to our marriage. That's why for the singles, I always encourage, you know what? Work on who you are. Know who you are. Because this is one thing that I know about solid marriages. Okay? Solid marriages is when you know who you are as a person, you know what to do and what not to do when it comes to your spouse. When you are secure in yourself, you don't have time to put your spouse down and talk them down. When you are, especially people who talk their spouse down in the street, but then you sit up here and wonder why this dude and this female is all up in their face. Baby, that in what you speak, you telling hashtag too much your business. And I know y'all like, Shan, now you be telling you and your husband business. I do. I tell as a testimony to God that how we made it over. Okay. That's what we used to say in the church, baby. You know, it's good to you when you're rocking your head, but I tell how we made it over. But then I also put my little disclaimer out there too. Don't try me. Don't try me in mine, baby. Don't do that. Now, all jokes aside, getting back to insecurity, I really encourage, again, like I always say, for us to examine ourselves in our marriage. Are you doing things that are showing insecurity when it comes to your spouse? Now, check it. I've even seen on the outside of the home where the husband or the wife, baby, they put on a good front. You hear me? A good old front. We was talking about this yesterday. And they make it seem like everything is, ooh, and you got people idolizing. You don't have people idolizing, but people are idolizing your marriage. However, the insecurities really come out and show once the spouse is in home. Once y'all behind closed doors, then that's when all the insecurity come out. And so let me go ahead and put something else out here, because I've seen this too. And I always talk about the atmosphere of your home and creating a peaceful atmosphere in your home and fighting to keep it that way. Now, if your spouse do not like coming home, 9 times out of 10, you may have some insecurities in you, baby, that you need to deal with. Some may say, well, I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm not talking about the cheating and all this other kind of stuff. I'm talking about if you know, good morning, Miss Cheryl, that you got you a good husband or you got you a good wife, but they tired of coming home, or they make every excuse not to come home, or they only come home when they know your tail is asleep so they can quickly take a shower and slide into the bed so they ain't got to hear your mouth with your insecure self, then you may need to check yourself. Now, you got people, like I say, don't get mad at Shan, because I don't know what's going on in your house. But I cannot stand, especially, and we've spoken about the past, where you have individuals who you are so insecure because you have gotten hurt so bad in the past, good morning, Joyce, that you allow it to play out in your current marriage, okay? Like I told you, I was quick to say, for me, was I hurt in the past before I met my husband? Yes. Good morning, Keela. I did think like a dude. I was wondering if I should post some of my tomboy pictures so y'all would believe, baby, I wasn't even one trying to be played. It took me to get played one time when I was single. Baby, I had my guards up like Fort Knox, okay? And that fake gold that they be claiming that their garden is not really there. But let me get off of that for the government show up at my door. But I had a guard up because, baby, what you wasn't going to do was play me. But one thing that I told my husband that is unfair is for me to punish him for what others have done to me before him. That's unfair. When I came into the marriage with my husband, I came in and I would have to check and catch myself. See, I'm talking to somebody on this morning because you have somebody good, but you still, like I said, it's tied to that one of the past, and your insecurities show up. That joker in the past treated you wrong, and you so insecure that you checking your spouse's phone all the time. Where are you going? What time you gonna get back? I was checking Google, and yeah, it was an accident on the way home, but it shouldn't have took you that long to get home. Oh, let me see your receipts. Where you been? Baby, look here. That is all signs of insecurity. Ain't nobody got time. My country about to come out. Ain't nobody got time to be dealing and sitting up in that kind of bondage. You hear me? So if you are acting like this, why you going out the house wearing that? I knew you had another man. I knew you had another woman. Who even says that in a marriage out their mouth, especially if you're trying to make your marriage work? And I will say this, but I'm going to be honest. I ain't never been in this situation, but this is just what I believe, okay? I believe it is so unfair if you've had a situation where your spouse has hurt you, let me holler at you, and you said, baby, we're going to stay in this, we're going to work it out, I forgive you, let's move forward. But every time you argue, you sitting up and you throwing it in their face. Every time, every chance you get and arguing, you throwing it up in their face. Okay, no, don't use your insecurities to continuously punish your spouse, whether it be the husband or the wife. If you say you forgive, okay? Go ahead, forgive them and keep it pushing, because when we want God to forgive us of all our sins, all our unrighteousness and iniquities, things that we were doing that we know we ain't had no business doing, baby, we want him to stick to his word and throw it in the sea of forgetfulness. That's what we want. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to God. So why is it that we can't do that when we come to our spouse? Now, if your spouse is a repeated offender, I'm going to need y'all to go get some counsel. I'm going to need y'all to go get some help. Even if you are dealing with areas of insecurity in your life right now, I encourage you, go get you some help so you can process on this thing and you can make yourself a better, healthier you, because your marriage will not progress in a positive direction in which God desires for it to be. And you be able to live your marriage to the fullest if you are not willing to deal with your insecurities. Okay, I know y'all done seen some people where y'all look up like, that joker is so insecure. I give a good example. I think about this in the past. I promise I never did with my husband, but I give a good example. You know how women, I mean, I'll let you, because you know you've seen it too. You know how when you, let's say that you have a coworker on your job, right? And it's a Christmas party, right? And say that he is introducing his wife and everybody's introducing their spouses and say, you cute. You know what I'm saying? You cute. You know, you secure within yourself and everything like that. You ain't flirting with nobody husband or nothing, because your husband sit right here, baby. But then you come up and he introduce you and he say, this is my wife. I'm going to say, Kathy. This is my wife, Kathy. And baby, you could see the way she squeezed closer on his arm where she's sending the signal to let you know, oh, this one ain't the one you want. But see, when you securing yourself, honey, you ain't even got to squeeze, honey. I could be all the way across the room, honey. You see what I'm saying? Did I used to have some little insecurities? Like I said, when I first got married, yes, I did. Because I did not know who I was. That's why I can speak on this topic. I was not secure within myself. I had children. I had a child young. I was married, what people consider to be young or whatever. It was at the age of 20. But I had insecurities that I had to go through and grow through. But now that your girl know who she is, my baby can be across the room. Now, don't get it twisted. If somebody hee-hee-ha-ha skinning and grinning, like we say where I'm from, you skinning and grinning too long in his face, honey, you will see me slide up. I might even give him a kiss, honey, because I send that signal now. I will send that signal, but I've seen it more so when it has come to women being in the present. Now, men usually act a whole fool. This is what I see them do or have seen in the past. You act an entire fool. You acting a fool. You marching out. You huffing and puffing or whatever. All because he was too close up in your face. All he said was hi. That's all he said. He just said hi. And I was about to introduce your ignorant behind him. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know how the arguments start. But until you stormed out, if you would have just stood there like my husband by my side, I would have introduced you. I'm sure y'all done seen some of this. I've seen it all too often, okay? The back off signal. I have seen it all too often. But at the end of the day, you cannot you can't be in a marriage, like I said, that's fulfilling when you are insecure in yourself and you are projecting your insecurities onto your spouse, especially when you have a husband or your wife, even if they did wrong in the past and they're trying their best to be the best husband or the best wife that they can be. But you set up here with your insecure self. Now, us as women, 9 times out of 10, baby, our face will tell all. You hear me? We sitting up here. I hate it if you eating right now, but we sitting up here with the boo-boo face. That's what we call it. Where your face, you just all turned up. Your attitude is rude and everything like that. Baby, when you know who you are, you don't have to carry yourself like that. You carry yourself like a lady because you're confident in yourself. You are confident in the woman in which God has created for you to be. You know that you are a daughter of the Most High God. So you don't have to walk around with your face all turned up and you tripping. Me and my husband, let me go ahead and tell y'all, me and my husband had to come to this agreement because When somebody would get too close up in my face, baby, my husband was ready to go to war and do battle. And I'm not going to lie, I was the same exact way. And what really would make me mad and where we had to come to the agreement in our marriage, it was probably about the 3rd year that we were married, is you do have some people that they will overstep their bounds. You know what I'm saying? And they be doing hashtag too much. And so when guys used to try to flirt with me and I was married, or women used to try to flirt with my husband, and I'm sitting up here looking like, I know you see that ring on his finger. I know you seen that ring on his finger, and you just gonna be disrespectful like that? That's what we gonna do? That's what the old Shan used to do, right? And I'd be ready to catch a case, okay? And so me and my husband had to come to the agreement of this. I said, baby, before you go in, what I need you to do is allow me and afford me the opportunity to say, excuse me, no disrespect to you or whatever, but I'm married. You know, I don't even get down like that. I'm married. And I told my husband, I said, now, if that joker still continue to be persistent after that, baby, you got free reign and I got your back. And that was the same thing when it came to him. I would give my husband the opportunity to say, ma'am, I don't get down like that. I'm married. So I would just ask you if you could just step back or whatever. And my husband, good morning, Brandy. Exactly. And my husband would just look at me and give me that look. And I'd be like, excuse me, did my husband just tell you that he married? Well, what are you doing here? What are we doing? What is the goal? Are you trying to be his side chick, his boo thing, or his next wife? What are we doing? Because we're going to have a whole grown woman conversation up in here. And so me and my husband used to communicate like that. See, that's why we always say that it's important to set boundaries, because otherwise me and my husband could have went to jail, because it wasn't a form of insecurity. In this instance, it was a form of disrespect. Okay, you got women and you got men that will be straight up disrespectful. And my girl Brandy just said it. They don't give a John Brown about the ring that you got on your finger. So in that instance, I would encourage you as husbands and wives, have those conversations. Baby, if I give you the good old queen signal to let you know, boom, baby, you know what I'm saying? Because there are people, but you need to know the difference of, is this my insecurity or is this these individuals being disrespectful? Like I told you, don't let me see anybody. One of my good, and my husband do the same thing. One of my good girlfriend husbands, I done told y'all, don't let me roll up on you and you standing close enough that you can smell that individual's breath. They like this. You almost Eskimo kissing with your nose. Baby, I'ma slide up in there. Excuse me, boo. How you doing? What's your name? Okay, what I need you to do is fall back. I will do that. However, the only time I won't do that is when I can sense and when the Holy Spirit tell me don't even touch that, because there's some foolery going on and there's some infidelity situations and all that. But I generally will. I will slide up. No. And it ain't my insecurities. Is you ain't got no business doing what you doing. And I don't find myself to get in people's business like that. But I've spoke about what insecurity look like in your marriage. So if you're just not joining in, go back and listen to it from the beginning. But then I also spoke on disrespect. And there is a difference, like Miss Joyce is saying. There is a difference. So don't allow your marriage, excuse me, don't allow your marriage to fall away and you lose your marriage because you're insecure. Singles, I encourage you, do not lose a relationship and a potential good marriage with the individual that God has before you because you have insecurities due to what somebody else has done in your past. It is so unfair. And it's so unfair, number one, to be done dirty. Okay. It's so unfair to be done dirty, but it's really unfair to punish your spouse for what somebody else has done in your past. That could be a past relationship. That could be your parents or whatever the case may be. You cannot have the marriage that God has intended for you when you are not willing to deal with your past. Stop putting a Band-Aid on it. Stop allowing your insecurities to fan the fire, the flames of the fire that's burning down and destroying your marriage. So the moral of the post today is examine yourself. I'm going to always say that, and I'm probably going to say that for the rest of this year, 2018. Examine yourself examine to see if you are insecure. If you are insecure, I need you to go before God. I need you to pray, and I need for you to ask God to show you when you're being insecure, especially when it comes to your spouse. God, I need you, because I've done this. If I'm doing something that's out of your will or your way, when it comes to your son, this man of God that I got, God, I need you to stop me right there, to God, and make it plain and show me right there. When I tell you, God will check your behind so quick, you'll be sitting up here like somebody to slap you in your face, because you will recognize your insecurities. Don't allow your insecurities to run off the good husband or the good wife that you have. I'm telling you, and you sitting up here, my dudes, with a whole bunch of Rottweilers, a whole bunch of dogs, talking about this is your family. Or ladies, you sitting up here with a whole bunch of cats like the cat lady. Baby, check your insecurities. Get the help that you need. Go before the Lord. Allow him to show you. Even if you don't think that you have insecurities right now, still pray to God and say, God, if it's anything that is in me, especially when it comes to insecurities, show me, and also show me how to deal with it and work through it, because it is so wrong for you to punish your spouse for that in which you have not dealt with. Okay, so y'all go ahead and have a blessed day. You know your girl gonna be back with y'all tomorrow. Like I always said, be a blessing to somebody today and not a curse. Don't let anybody steal your joy. Thank you for sharing. For everybody who shared, I always try to come back and comment and thank you and say good morning or something to let you know how much I appreciate it. But I ask you to share because somebody needs this. Y'all do not know, if you have not paid attention, to great lengths of marriages and divorces that are taking place right now, all because people are not willing to humble themselves and learn something new about themselves that they have not dealt with. Okay, so share this because it's free. Your girl Shannon be back with y'all tomorrow. Blessings to you and God bless.